right, everyone. This is Tim. This is Online Big Blue. I think you know what time it is. It's peanut butter jelly time. We're going to talk about the Giants. We're going to talk about everything else under the sun that's football related. We already got Giants Munmin sprouting out. Let's go, Big Blue. We got Dominic Palmer. Oops, let's click on that. Let's go, Big Blue. We got Dominic Palmer, of course, the Dahmer. Hello, love. Oh, Big Dom. I got me just rips on to Barbie, so we should be all right. He says, listening in with a poorly child in tow. So I'm assuming your daughter is not feeling well, Dahmer. That's why Dahmer isn't here right now, because his daughter's not feeling well. But you know what? Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We got the Washington game coming up. The real season starts now. We got Phil from the Bronx always calling it,
you know what? The real season starts right now. It didn't start on Sunday. That game didn't mean anything.
The stupidity of that statement. The stupidity. I like Natural Supreme says, it's truth hour. Let's go. Oh no, let's go. Let's get crazy today. We're running out of live streams. There's not going to be many left. So let's get freaking nuts today. Let's really tell the truth. Let's really talk about truthful stuff. Let's really talk about the Giants. Let's really talk about what's going on. Let's really talk about the 4-1 in the last 6 games. Let's talk about the garbage can known as Daniel Jones. Let's talk about it all. Let's talk about the fact that if we don't win in Washington, we're screwed. Let's talk about the fact that Philadelphia beat Washington. I should rephrase that. Washington beat Philadelphia, and we got blown out. And blown out by Philadelphia. And we lost. Wait, we didn't lose. It's a tie. Tied. To me, a tie is a loss. You ain't first, you're last. That's trademark. Not going to use that for Ricky Bobby Inc. But there's a lot going on. We got Lorenzo in his house. What's going on, Lorenzo? Lorenzo, I got a big shout out to Lorenzo. He came with me on Sunday, braved the elements. 8 o'clock in the morning, we had to show up at Giant Stadium. We had to be in the tent at 8:30. He was actually on the field with me doing the flag ceremony. We were holding the American flag, that big American flag. We were holding that flag. We were holding up Maine, us and 2 other guys, because the other people didn't show up during the big show. So somehow I'm sitting there holding 7 different straps of Maine below me. But that's all right. It's all good. Mr. Jones says, if we lose to the Commanders, we should just tank the rest of the season and improve our draft pick. I'm not a big believer in tanking. I don't believe you should tank. I believe you should try to win every game you possibly can. I believe you need to try your best. And that just wasn't our best on Sunday. And I love it because I posted the video of Brian Dable talking about Daniel Jones today. And I stole it from Mr. Authentic. And I love it because he's like, Daniel Jones, he looks down, looks to the side. And I love it because he says he's doing good as he's shaking his head no. Subliminal set messages. Hell yeah. Anthony Richardson, Mr. AR, Mr. Not 305 because he's in Gainesville. No, he's in Gainesville. That's right. He's with the Gators, so he's in Gainesville. Was at the game. He was at the Giant game on Sunday. Evidently, his agent told Joe Shane he's got him on speed dial. It's interesting. And I love the people that go, well, if we let Daniel Jones go.
If we let Daniel Jones go, well, what are we going to do for a quarterback? We won't have a quarterback. Where's this quarterback going to come from?
The draft, motherfucker. The draft. You drafted Daniel Jones. You drafted him and you had him replace Eli Manning. You go to the draft. One of the dumbest things I ever heard. Where are we going to find a quarterback? I don't know. We can look. I don't have a quarterback down here. Maybe we'll get one in the draft. Zach Attack says, Wink is acting like he has Marcus Peters, Marlon Humphreys at corner. He did the same crap in Baltimore and got him forked. It's true, and I said this about Wink. And I did a video the day we hired Wink because I love the Wink hiring. I did. I thought Wink should have been the head coach over Joe Judge. I did a video about that too. But I said I'm concerned that Wink is going to try and run the same type of defense he ran in Baltimore without the personnel that he had in Baltimore, because with all the injuries last year in Baltimore, he got himself fired. I liked it better when it was forked, Zach. Put a fork in him, he's done. And I was concerned that he was going to try to do that blitzing style and attack without the components to do it. And he did it in the last couple of weeks and it just hasn't worked out. So I hope he dials back the blitzes a little bit. Maybe he disguises them a little bit better. Maybe he bails out of some and drops extra guys in the coverage. Maybe Julian Love does not go for the interception and bats the ball down on 4th and 8. It reminded me of the movie. What was that movie? Friday Night Lights. When they were playing the championship game and the guys in the red jersey, they just don't punt. The head coach just does this. That's what it reminded me of in the Eagle game. No respect. No respect for the defense. No respect for our offense. They just, what was it? Dallas U Premium, whatever. Just go for it. Don't even punt. The punter got hurt. Didn't even matter. What does Winplay got to say? DJ fans are already talking about bringing him back on Twitter because they're idiots. They're morons. Knock, knock. Who's there?
I'm a moron.
That's who's there. We've talked about this before. You got $55 million in cap space. You can't bring 10 of that automatically goes away for your draft class. You're going to give $19 million to Daniel Jones. So you're already out of your 50. Let's make it easy. Let's say out of 50, you have your draft class. And you're going to give him and $30 million between the draft class and Daniel Jones. No, that's why they always say in the NFL, you need to win with your quarterback within the first 4 years, because then you're effed. You're effed by either that 5th-year option, or you're effed because you're going to have to put the cap on him, or you're effed. We're not dropping $32 million on a cap hold on Daniel Jones. But Dable said it best. He's good. I love it. He says he's good as he's shaking his head no. Go watch the video. It's hilarious. And even Mr. Authentic was saying, if that was my review at my job, I probably wouldn't have a job. Osmosis Jones says, it really sucks that Daniel Jones is coming. He's not coming back. He's not coming back. The day, you know what? I'm leaving February 17th, as everyone knows. The day Daniel Jones is let go, that day, I am making a video. I'm going to do a video that day. I'm going to turn the channel back on and I am making a video, and I'm just going to spend 30 minutes laughing. Mr. Pimp Name Slickback says, I love people trying to claim Jones isn't as good as Hurts. They sound like the people who claim that any quarterback would have won a Super Bowl in 2007 instead of Eli. Yeah, because those people are idiots too. Hurts is a good quarterback. I got blasted last year because I said I would take Hurts over Daniel Jones. I said it on Bad Dog Show that I would take. And I've said it on Bird Gang 31. I said I would take Hurts. Because he's got that quality. Jalen does. He's got that quality that, and I've said it before, if you ever watch Jalen Hurts get sacked, you watch his offensive line literally pick him up like it's their little brother. He's got that quality that makes people better around him. He's got that quality that the guys want to play for him. They want to be in the huddle with him. I don't see that with Daniel Jones. I laugh because when we were at the game on Sunday, like I said, we did the opening flag ceremony. And Lorenzo and I were the last ones off the field. And which was kind of funny because they were trying to hurry us up as the players were walking in for the coin toss. And Daniel Jones was probably 4 feet away from me. I gave him the thumbs up. I said, let's go, Daniel. I got nothing but love. How many people can say that? People that say that I bash him constantly, but I see the man face to face and I said, hey, let's go, Daniel. Come on. You want to know why? Because I don't believe in the fact that you are there just to lose a game. You are stupid if you think that the Giants just went into that game thinking they were going to lose. They went in with that mindset and that philosophy. No, every game is important in the NFL. 2007, when the Patriots beat us, that last game of the season gave us the momentum going into the playoffs that we could play with anybody. And then when we meet them in the Super Bowl, and it's Danny fucking checks downs, and we meet them in the Super Bowl, we knew we could beat them. The same thing with Philadelphia. But what we proved in Philadelphia is they are light years ahead of us in regards to talent. Zakatak says, also, if we do get a top wide receiver at the deadline, what's to say Daniel Jones will throw? I loved it because there was a part in the game where Kenny G finally got into the game. Kenny, smooth sounds Kenny G. He finally got in the game. And I have to give Lorenzo credit for this because he pointed it out for me. He pointed it out. He said that, and And I really didn't watch the play, but I watched the replay. Well, I watched it on the Jumbotron. He said Kenny G was wide open. He had like a 7-yard cushion between the safety, and he had beaten his man by at least 2-3 yards. Daniel Jones didn't even look on that side of the field. He checked down to Saquon Barkley. That says a lot. It's Danny fucking dump-offs. It's Danny fucking check down. What else most? We're going to have to bring him back on a 1-year deal because there's no shot we can get Richardson. There's so many quarterbacks in this draft. We don't know who is going to be up. We don't know who is going to be down. We don't know any of this. We do not know any of this. So we're going to have to wait. I'm not worried about that. We couldn't get a prime spot in North Dakota. You couldn't get some prime North Dakota spot? No. The Dahmer, that's pretty funny. The Dahmer says Tim's getting a workout with all the efforts with the flag. I am. I'm going on this is the second or third time I've done the flag this season. I like doing the flag because how many times can you say you're standing on the field at Giant Stadium, 70,000 people around you, and you're sitting there for the national anthem? You are on the field level as they're running out of the tunnel. It's an awesome experience. Mike Lynn said, New York Post put an article out this and deserves another and suggests franchising him at $32 million or putting a transition tag. Here's the problem with that, Mike. And this is why New York Post is usually pretty smart. You automatically franchise him for $32 million. If you have 55 in cap space, that $32 million automatically becomes a cap hold until you sign him, until he signs that tag or he signs a contract. So that limits what you can do because you now have a $32 million cap hold on your $55 million. There are no stupid questions, only stupid people. I'm not talking about you, Mike. I'm just saying New York Post. I got to find that button. Where is that button? This is better.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Mr. McCormick says, what do you think about Anthony Richardson? Just read his scouting report and is compared to Cam Newton and Lamar Jackson's speed. I've never been a fan of Richardson. I really haven't. I think Hooker, even with the injury, is a better prospect. But like I said, you know what? You got to go by what a lot of scouts see. And there's a difference between, and this is what people don't get. There is a difference between being an NFL quarterback and being a college quarterback. So sometimes the things that you can and cannot do in college transitions over to the pros. Grab Mr. Lorenzo saying, not a huge fan of Richardson, but a big fan of trading down. He could trade down. We'll be all right. Giants fans don't do anything about GMs. Just give Daniels 2 to 3 year deals and see what he have here. What GM in his right mind would risk their careers in that? Well said. What GM would risk his career by giving Daniel Jones a contract? You have your own head coach who can't even with a straight face say, yeah, Daniel Jones is good. He's shaking his head. No. What's up, Emmanuel? What's up? We got a big super chat dropping in just stuff from the Zack Attack. Zack Attack says these last few games felt like track coach games. Sunday's game did. So that felt like a track code. That felt like it. I like this one by Dom. Is the post getting wonked? No, I'm not wonking anyone because I can't find the button.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say that's the bad guy.
That was the wrong button. That wasn't the Wonka button. We got the big L coming in and saying, let's get this. Cohen to DC to get the win. Those that do not know, we are having a massive, I'm talking massive live stream on Sunday. Don't know the time yet. Probably maybe 5, 6 o'clock. In person, in the online Big Blue studios, in person. It's going to be Big L. It's going to be T-Brad. It's going to be James Williams. And potentially it's going to be LJ. All sitting live, answering your questions. We're going to do a call-in. Answering your questions live on camera. All together in one room. We're answering all your giant questions before the big game. I don't know what time it's going to be because I don't know what time when everyone's going to show up, and I don't know what time the drinking's going to start. So, could be 5, could be night. But it will be before the giant game. I promise you that. DJ has no energy. He really doesn't. We got OGR coming in here. What's up, OGR Sports? Good afternoon, Tim. Good afternoon, chat. What does Moet have to say? You can see the pain on Dable's face when he's asked what he thinks. You go and watch go to my Twitter, go to Online Big Blue 1 Twitter and watch the video. Go to YouTube because I also posted a video there. It pains him. He doesn't know what to say. He pauses at one point and goes, And then I love it because they always say if you look down and away, you're lying. Because the first thing he's doing is, yeah, he's good. I like because he pauses and goes, yeah, he's good. He's good. And I thought to myself, why the hell are you shaking your head? No, why are you saying he's good? My wife's into the body language and what that says about somebody. And, so sometimes she imparts her wisdom. And she was the one that really noticed all that stuff. Mike Glenn says, people say you have to give up multiple draft picks to get a quarterback, but Jalen Hurts, who just routes the Giants, was a second-round pick and leading MVP candidate. Russell Wilson was a third-round pickup, I believe. Tom Brady, 7th round. Is Tom Brady 6th or 7th round? I can't remember. You can find a quarterback. They got the kid in San Francisco, Mr. Irrelevant, just won a game. Samuels goes out. He wins a game. Dominic Palmer says, I'm looking forward to the DJ leaving video. Yeah, I'm coming back for that one. I'm running back to that one. Danny checkdowns. It's Danny effing checkdowns. Todd said, we should have won the game. We were up. We were up like 28-17 or something. Oh, wait, Kenny G was open. And it's funny because he really was open. He really was open at the time. What's up, Hirsch, for real? How you doing, my brother? That sounds good. I would love to be that close. There's a lot of people traveling for this event. People are traveling for the online Big Blue Summit on Sunday. What does Mr. Big Blue have to say? This is not the GM guy. They're definitely getting they are getting a quarterback. Evidently, and I did not know this, but Giants scouts have been out to 4 separate Florida games scouting Richardson. They must see something they like. And like I said, I'm only going to go by what I think, but I think this. Dable knows what he wants in a quarterback. Dable understands the talent that he wants in a quarterback. So if Richardson is what is going to fit his system, I think that's what he's going to go with. Oh my God. And to the morons that are like, because he had a bad game, Josh Allen. Well, Josh Allen's missing Brian Dable. I'm going to fix my hair. He's missing Brian Dable. Okay, if you look at him statistically, Josh Allen, and you project out his stats, he's going to have the same, almost identical stats that he had last year. But we're not going to talk about that. But he's missing them because he had a bad game against the Jets. Great balls of fire. The 2023 quarterback draft is deep. I agree it's deep. And that's why I said he'll find his guy. He's going to find his quarterback. He will. He said, Big Blue says, I can't blame Mike Cave with the play calling. I'm telling you this, and I've said this a million times. It is interesting that technically 3 offensive coordinators and 2 head coaches have limited their playbook for Daniel Jones. It's no longer a coincidence. And I've said it before. No offensive coordinator, especially a first-year one, when you have a head coach who was a former offensive coordinator, is sitting there going, ha, I'll call whatever I want to call. No, he's going by the edict of the head coach. Well, that's all right. See, if I had that button. If I had that button, hey, I'm going to find that button. Hold on, I'm going to find it. Yeah, it's my wife's fault.
But that's okay. Remember, there are no stupid questions, just stupid people.
It's my wife's fault. The board still isn't labeled. I promise you this. I'm going to have the board labeled before February 17th. How aggressive do you think we have to be getting in better wide receivers? I agree with your take on Martindale. So I think we need a lot more help moving forward. You're going to have to find someone in the draft. You don't have to take a wide receiver in the first round, but you're going to make sure you hit the like guys. But we only got 22 likes. We're going to find somebody in the draft. We will. I have faith. Mr. Big L says, what's Big L says? As Aikman put it sarcastically, Shane didn't pick the 5th-year option up. So that says everything. I remember that game because I love it because the fact that Mr. Authentic, we were just talking about how I stole your Brian Dable video because it's so funny because Daniel Jones is a good quarterback. Yeah, and it was great because you're right. Aikman did say it in the game because Aikman said, well, Shane hasn't made, it was a Dallas Giant game. Of course, he said Shane hasn't made a decision. What's his name? Buck said it. He says, what My wife says the board may not be. I can't read that. I'm not allowed to read text messages from my wife anymore on air. He basically said, Buck said, well, they haven't made a decision. And Shane Aikman came out and said, yeah, they did make a decision. They haven't picked up the 5th-year option. So what kind of decision else do you need? What kind of impact will Chase Young have on Sunday's game? Right now with our defense, our offensive line, I don't know. Sometimes we make the meek look good. And right now, Chase Young's been a little meek, be it injuries and everything else. Rumors. So what are the rumors? Rumors of Trey Young upset Atlanta, maybe traded. What do you think the Knicks have to do to acquire him? You're not going to trade Young because you got Jalen Brunson. Why would you want to bring in another? Jalen Brunson's been balling. Why would you want to bring in another guy? What does Todd says? Someone do the math. I'm assuming quick. How much per catch does Jimmy Giants have to pay? We have to pay him a lot. Emmanuel says Anthony Richmond was at the game Sunday. He took a picture. Yeah, I saw it. A lot of people sent me pictures of Anthony AR at the game. I find it interesting. Like I said, his agent came out and said, I got the Giants on speed dial. And like I said, 4 times, Giant scouts have been to 4 games, Florida games. That tells you they're looking at something. Kenny G needs Stickum. Well, of course, we all know Stickum's illegal. You can't, unless you're Fred Bolitnikoff or Lester Hayes, you can't use Stickum anymore. Mr. Alvarez, what's going on, Mr. Alvarez? Also, I'm pretty sure Richardson's agent said that he has shit. Yep, he did. He said he has got him number 1 on the speed dial. I said that a while ago. If Richardson is there, the Giants are jumping. If Shane and Dable think Richardson fits the system, I have no problem with them drafting Richardson. I really don't. I have no problem with that whatsoever. If they think that believe he fits the system, people got to stop texting me. You got to trust him. You have to trust Dable to understand that it's going to be his quarterback. And he needs his quarterback because he needs to win with his quarterback. And I've said this before, no one's going to want to win with another man's garbage. And sometimes another man's trash is just another man's trash. So you want to win or lose your own way. So you need to win with your guys. Because if you lose with someone else's guys, you're a moron. And I don't think Shane or Dable are morons because you win with someone else's mistakes. No, you win with your own talent that fits your system. And Daniel Jones does not fit this system. Doing it, L. What drives me crazy is that people keep saying that DJ is so hard to evaluate because he's not working with nothing. We're not even going to talk about it, though, because we know it's a crock of crap. We know that. It's an excuse. And excuses are like a-holes. Everyone's got one. And we got to stop making excuses. Everyone brings up Phil Simms. Well, Phil Simms was terrible, and they almost got rid of him. No, Phil Simms was he was the NFC quarterback of the year. He was the all-rookie team. He was leading the Giants to the playoffs in 81 before he got hurt. He got hurt in 82 and 83. Simms' issues was never talent or his play on the field. It was injuries. First Giant quarterback to throw for over 4,000 yards in 84. Led the Giants. I mean, that was the first year the Giants had been 84 back to the playoffs since 81. Led the team in 85 to that bad loss against the Bears, then won the Super Bowl, and then got hurt in 90 against Buffalo when the Giants were marching towards the Super Bowl. So there's no comparison between Daniel Jones and Phil Simms. There's no comparison between Daniel Jones and Eli Manning. Eli Manning's biggest issue those first couple of years, outside of the first season of 2004, was Kevin Gilbride. Kevin Gilbride wanted him to be a gunslinger. Kevin Gilbride never met a deep pass he didn't love. And that produced a quarterback, especially a young one, that put up a lot of interceptions. It's amazing when they went to the short style passing game. They went more towards the West Coast under the doo-doo. Eli throws for over 30 touchdowns 2 seasons in a row. And that's the big thing, Mike. You talk, and I've said it before, you extrapolate Josh Allen's stats right now, and you project him over the entire season, he's going to have almost the identical stats. And the Jets do have a legit defense. That's something people need to look at. Mr. Authentic in his house. Keep getting it real, Tim. A community needs value, and you bring that. I appreciate that. A lot of people don't think that, but that's okay. I appreciate that. You're a nice guy. You're a nice guy. Go listen to the Authentic, because once I'm gone, Mr. Authentic's it. Once I'm gone, he's it. He's one of the few people that in the giant community that don't make me want to vomit. B actually speaks the truth. And you know, him and I have disagreed, Mr. Authentic, have disagreed on many points of contention, many points of conversation. We disagree because you don't always have to agree. That's the great thing about being a fan. You could be a passionate fan, but you need to be an intelligent, passionate fan. You need to have a reason, not why something is good or something is bad, or you believe in something, not just because of the fact that I suck. Because I get a lot of that. I'm just terrible. There's no thought process behind why I'm terrible, why I'm wrong. There's just a thought process that I'm terrible and you hate me. If you hate someone so much, it's probably because the fact that you know they're right. Mr. Jones, I see a lot of potential in Hodgins, Isaiah, we'll call him. Sign him for, I say he's actually played well. Sign him up for another year. I got no problem with that. Get rid of David Sills. Thank God David Sills is barely ever on the field. Plus, he's never on the field to play special teams. Mr. Blue says, oh my God, you can see the frustration in David's face. It was great. The video was great. Go watch it. It's awesome. Yeah, Dan Jones is a good quarterback. He's saying he's a good quarterback while he's shaking his head. No. Oh my God. Zach says AR's has similar stats to Josh Allen, but not exactly. So it makes sense for why the Giants would be looking at him, and it makes sense. Well, you know, and you know this, Zach, they don't compare. College stats mean nothing. They don't. They really mean nothing. Because once you're out of college and the pros, the stats mean nothing. It's what you do and what you ability-wise. I think they're probably looking at AR as more of a Josh Allen-esque type quarterback in reference to his size, his strength, his mobility. Because he's, like I said, I still think Richardson's got a little bit of a lollipop throw. I worry about that. But he is a scrambler. He is a runner. Daniel Jones is not a scrambler. Daniel Jones is not a runner. He runs out of necessity. And he runs out of broken plays. And he runs out of design. There's a difference between being a runner and a scrambler and a guy that runs out of necessity. And I think Richardson can be a runner and a scrambler. What's up, Beaner? Hey, Tim, how about the Giants home playoff game, buddy? Yeah, that's going well. That's going well. Poor T-Brad doesn't have to shave off his dreads, it looks like. What's up, Kareem? How you doing, my friend? But I'm not saying he's Josh. I'm not saying that either. What do we got? Herschel says Richardson should be available. I think if the Giants don't make the playoffs, that Richardson's going to be available. I think there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks available if they don't make the playoffs. Even if they do make the playoffs, and I've said this a million times before, how many people thought the Giants were going to get Eli Manning in 2004? Nobody. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. Sorry. What's up, Mr. Rover? Mr. Irish Rover in his house. My buddy came with me too. Irish Rover flew all the way in from destinations unknown to go to the salute to service game with me against the Texans, which was a lot of fun, which was a good time. I'd rather have Hooker. I would rather, it's funny, with the ACL tear with Hooker, he's probably going to miss parts of the season. With the ACL tear, I would probably still take a shot in Hooker at the second round. Because I think, and yes, he's older, and people are going to be like, well, he's 25. When did 25 become old? If 25 is old, then I'm dirt. I'm dinosaur dirt. Dom says, I'm back. I don't watch college footy. So why do you think the Giants appear to be so high on AR? I don't know. Because they like him, because he probably fits in the system. He probably fits in the mold of their quarterback that they want. That's what I'm thinking. Hirsch for real says, what do you got, Hirsch for real? I remember Gettleman and his crew scouted Justin Herbert with a reckless abandon. Well, now Shane is doing the same thing with this guy. It's true. The Giants wanted Herbert. I wanted Herbert. Like I said, I did so many videos called Suck for the Duck. I wanted Herbert. Herbert was smart. Herbert says, I'm not going to the Giants. Oh, no. I'm going to go back to school and get an education. What fool does that? I don't know, Dom. He's a major boomer. But he is a major. That's a good point, Lorenzo. He is a major boomer bust prospect. But the potential's there. Personally, I want a new quarterback. Enough is enough. Well, Big Blue wants a new quarterback. So you know what? That's what happened. Phil Simms was having a career year in 1990. He was before he got hurt. So people need to stop the Simms comparison. They need to stop the Eli comparison with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, if you want to talk, you want to compare real quick, 2011, Eli Manning had the worst offensive line in the entire league. He went and played the San Francisco game, that playoff game, and at one point his head was like this. His helmet was looking this way. They picked him up off the field, and what does he do 2 plays later? He throws the game-winning touchdown. But he didn't have an offensive line, so he should have sucked. Mike Lenses always feels like you can't judge a GM until they have the opportunity to bring in their own coaches and quarterback. I agree 1,000%. You can't judge somebody until they have their pieces in place. I think I answered that. Like I said, I'm a hooker guy. I have been a hooker guy. Yeah, he's 25. Yeah, he's got the ACL now, but take him in the second round. Do a Jalen Smith, who's now with the Giants. Do a Jalen Smith and take him in the second round. Let him sit. Or you run out Tyrod Taylor or whomever, because you can find a quarterback. You can find a quarterback be just as bad as Daniel Jones. It's not that hard. Hey-o. Hers for real says, keep your eye on a couple of college quarterbacks. Mike, you know what? Max Dugan, from TCU. And and the kid from Coastal Carolina. You know what? There's a couple of people that have talked about McCall and Dugan. I've seen that before. I got a friend's kid who goes to Coastal Carolina. We've talked about that. So many homers and clickbait channels covering the team. There are, but we're not going to bash. We're not going to bash other channels. Oh, show up for February 17th. I love it because my wife always says I have their receipts and deleted tweets. So I'm just going to post them all. Oh, it's going to get fun. It's going to be fun. Cameron Ward, Tanner McGee are 2 quarterbacks I like, but with the first run offense, those 2 are mainly pocket passers, won't fit. Well, a pocket passer would fit this system. These 2 guys probably would look like Jones if they were drafted here. Yeah. Freak nasty. Probably right. Let's see here. Well, I've been called old ever since I turned 25. You're old. Your life is halfway. Your life is a quarter of the way over. Or a third of the way over. You're old. I'm not giving away my top 3 prospects yet. I'm going to do a video on that. I'm actually going to do a live stream on that. Mr. Kareem, I feel some of the Giants fans need to realize it's okay to move on from bad situations. Sometimes you need to swing a few times before you get a hit. Look at the Jets. How long did it take for the Jets to get a quarterback? And they still haven't found one yet. Maybe they found an Mike F. and White. Maybe they did. Look how long it took the Giants to find a quarterback after Phil Simms. They drafted Dave Brown when Phil Simms was here. You still went through Dave Brown, Danny Cannell, Kent Graham, Kerry Collins. You throw Jeff Rutledge in there a little bit too, and some other people that played here and there. You're gonna miss. You got spoiled with 16 years of Eli Manning. You got spoiled. We got spoiled. Oh, how would you rank the quarterback class this year? Your top 5. I'm not going to give that away, guys. What's up, RFFD? Not giving that away yet. Dan Jones is putting up Mitchell Trubisky last year with the Bears numbers, and fans still want him around. That's not true. That's true. What do we got here? DJ looked like Eli did when Eli had no time to throw. Eli still completed pass. You know what's funny? That's actually, Antonio, I'm going to have to I'm calling bullshit out on this one. When Eli took over in 2004, and this is why I'm going to call bullshit on this, we had Kurt Warner as quarterback. Kurt Warner's sacks that year before Eli Manning took over, I forgot. He was like, the team was like leading the league in sacks, the quarterback getting sacked. That got cut in half when a rookie came in and played. Why? Because Eli Manning got rid of the ball. Eli Manning, even though he was making mistakes, was able to process plays and throw the ball. Check that stat out. Let's see. College stats mean nothing. Look at JPP. College stats means nothing. There's so many great college quarterbacks that did nothing. There's so many great running backs. What's up, Jay? They mean nothing. What's up, Jay? We got Mike coming in. What's Mike got to say? People are so quick to throw Barkley when defenses are selling out to stop Barkley and give no F's about Jones throwing on the ball. You just said it right there. You just said a mouthful. Barkley has run for over 1,000 yards this year. Barkley, you put 8 in the box and you dare the Giants to throw. And this is what happens. Oh, Tommy Maddox. Yeah, Tommy Maddox was here as well. You dare the Giants to throw. because everyone knows they can't. Why? Because every freaking play is Daniel Jones play action, roll out to the left, Daniel Jones play action, roll out to the right. Why? Because they can't keep him in the damn pocket because he can't process the ball, the plays long enough to stay in the pocket, even though he is the guy that spends the most amount of time in the pocket than anyone in the NFL. But it's the offensive line fault, it's the wide receiver's fault, it's Saquon Barkley's fault. No. Lorenzo says, unpopular opinion, but I don't think the Giants should bring back Barkley or Jones. I don't think it's an unpopular opinion. I think Barkley at 26, depending on what the contract is, it's a toss-up. But the other question is, unless you're going to tag either one of them, does Barkley want to really come back? Does Barkley really want to be in this situation? Here's a situation meant to every nation. Tommy Maddox. I remember Tommy Maddox. Wasn't Tommy Maddox number 8? Is that what happened with Daniel Jones? He got the Tommy Maddox number. Brandon Weeden was 27, and the concerns he was too old to fit into the NFL. Well, Brandon Weeden was not a good quarterback. And also, he went to a really bad situation with Cleveland. And you figure this, Baker Mayfield, Brandon Weeden, Johnny Manziel. And there was Brady Quinn. And there's a couple other quarterbacks that failed in Cleveland at that same time frame. So you really can't. I really can't. I can't bash him for that. What's your opinion on Saquon? If he wants to come back and we get a new quarterback and we get him at the right price, I would sign Saquon Barkley. I would. If he continues, Tim Couch was in there too. That's right. If he continues to stay healthy. And I think he had a stinger, and which was limiting his play, and he still played because it was interesting that they did a lot more of the rollout passes to Saquon Barkley out of the backfield, which is kind of like a run because you don't have to duck your head and go into the middle of the line. But I find it interesting that if he wants to stay and the Giants want him to stay, make sure you hit the like button, guys. If he wants to stay, I would keep him. I'd let him stay. But you need to build then around the quarterback and your running back and understand you're going to be a run-heavy team. And pick up some more depth at wide receiver and pick up a quarterback that understands that if we need to throw the ball, when your own head coach comes out and says, if we have to throw the ball 35 times a game, I don't think we can win. There's something very wrong here. And that's what Dable said about Daniel Jones a couple of weeks back. Kareem Hunt, I would sign Hunt. I would sign him. Todd says, I hate to see it, but Barkley whines a lot more. It would take it easy to say goodbye. If he wants too much, it's going to be easy to say goodbye. Daniel Jones may say, Daniel Jones may, I'm going to give you a hometown discount. Yeah, because no one might want you outside of this hometown. And a lot of people right here don't want. I'm going to tell you this, and I have been to most of the games this season from the start of, and I actually have been to the preseason games as well. From the start of preseason to the last Sunday, the love affair for Daniel Jones in the stands has done this. So people are actually yelling explicits towards Daniel Jones. They were yelling explicits to Daniel Jones in the first quarter. And I found that really interesting. That momentum level has totally shifted. And I'm going to tell you right now, if we lose on Sunday, you may see Tyrod play. And Tyrod did play. And outside of the sack, when Matt from Connecticut got burnt and Tyrod got crushed and fumbled, Tyrod was 5 for 5 with a touchdown? What does Timothy say? Will Tyrod rescue the Giants on Sunday night? He might. Lord knows he might. Yep, Tim Couch was the other guy. Thank you, Matt. I did see that. Hirsch for real says, DJ spends more time in the pocket than pickpocket in Times Square. Hey-oh. That's a good one, though. I like that one. Let's see. I feel we should really focus on wide receiver and linebacker in round 1. I saw on Twitter, and KG from NLB15, I'm not making fun of you. But I saw on Twitter, people were like, I love this because it's like goes against everything in the NFL. You need to build the team first before you get a quarterback. Like the quarterback position is the easiest position in the world to find. You need to build the team first and then get a quarterback. Elon, you got to do something about Giant fans on Twitter. A lot of them need to be banned. You're going to go against everything in the NFL that if you have a franchise quarterback sitting in front of you, you take him and build around him. I've never heard the philosophy, you build the team first and then you find your franchise quarterback. Because we only need to play with 10 guys. We'll just hike the ball of the running back. We'll be fine. Oh, dear Lord. Great balls of fire. Do you feel they should have let Schumer stick around for another 2 years since he was fired after having a rookie quarterback and hoisted? You know what? I do think that Shermer probably should have got one more year. I was never a big fan of Shermer. I hated Shermer. I did a video called Pat Shermer, head coach. Only a mother could love. Only a mother could love. Not. That's how much I love Shermer. But he should have got another year. McAdoo should have got another year too. McAdoo was a sacrifice for the Geno Smith fiasco. Lorenzo says, I think it's an explosive start and lack for better teams. I think he's a workhorse. He's great with limited number of touches, but burns out. He does. And Lorenzo and I talked about this during the game. I said, you know what, the one thing that pisses me off about Saquon Barkley? Every second play, he's got to come out. Every second play. You see him doing this. Every second play, he's got to come out. And that's happened since his rookie year. Mike Glenn is on fire. Mike Glenn is on fire with his takes today. We got a lot of good comments today. I'm very excited about this. You know what? Make sure we get it to 40 likes. One thing I'm not going to miss is sitting in this damn chair. Yeah, Timothy says, hey, Tim, will the Giants sign? No, Giants aren't going to sign Baker Mayfield. I don't even need to read the rest of that. Todd says, I think we have messed up by not platooning running backs this year. Matt Breida and Brightwell have been underused. Yeah, I would like to see Breida get some more playing time. I really would. I would like to see that. I don't know if they're underused, but I would like to see it. I see John Mara shills are coming out this week to try to convince us Daniel Jones deserves one more year. Do you think he's coming back? No, he's not coming back. He's not coming back. Like I said, watch the video that I have on my Twitter of about Brian Dable talking about Daniel Jones when they ask him how well he's doing. And he goes, he's doing good. It's so awesome. Your head coach is saying your starting quarterback's doing good and everything you want him to do while he's shaking his head no. Hey, balls of fire. Oh, my God. Hers for real says the only discount Daniel Jones should get is 15% off his Geico premiums. Maybe you can get like a BJ's card. BJ's one of those warehouses. Let's see. Make sure it's not giant breaking news. No, Apple News. Oh, Apple News, not giant breaking news. What's up, my friend? How you doing? What's up, Tim? How you been? I've been good. How you been? Where you been? You haven't been around in a while. Give you a 2 for 2. I can't even go on Twitter anymore. It makes me so angry that I'm associated with these fans who speak nonsense. There is a lot of nonsense. And I don't like the nonsense. I really don't. And you know what's funny? The venerable James Williams. I was talking to him the other day. I was talking to him yesterday or 2 days. No, it was Sunday. I was talking to him after the game. I was laying on the couch trying to recover from the loss. And it was funny though, because we were talking about my videos and stuff, and he goes at one point, I didn't know you even had the filter on during the last 2 years doing videos. But now that you were more and more removing the filter, I was like, he's like, you got to put the filter back on. He's like, I didn't know there was another level. Oh, but it's going to get worse. What's Dominic? I'm saying you need to find the right quarterback. If he's there, you take it. If it's not, then you take another position. Yeah. But if there's a quarterback there you like, even if no one likes him, Dave Gettleman, number 6, you take your shot. I never faulted. I was still taking Josh Allen that year. Josh Allen, the linebacker. But I never faulted Gettleman for taking his quarterback. Because like I said, Ernie Accorsi came out and said it a million times. Ernie Accorsi was a rookie GM in Baltimore when John Elway said that he would not play in Baltimore. So the management forced Accorsi to trade John Elway. And when he became general manager for the Giants, Accorsi, he said that when he sees his quarterback, he's going to get him. And he did that with Eli Manning. And that's what he's always said. And he wrote a book about it. He says, you see your quarterback, he's your guy, no matter what, you go get him. So Gettleman, Shermer, and everyone else, Mara, went and thought they got their quarterback at 6. But you're going to fail more than you're going to succeed when it comes to a franchise quarterback. You're going to fail more than you're going to succeed. Tim, that's me. What teams bid for Jones services in the offseason? Manchester United, maybe. The Padres. Someone will overpay him. They always do. What do we say here? I agree, Dominic. We have so many holes on this team that you really need hard to have a bad draft pick. I trust Shane. I trust Dable that they're building the foundation. Hold me close. Time to dance. Saquon. Let's see. Todd says Sherman is the guy that should only be. Sherman's Joe Bugle. Joe Bugle, who was the offensive line coach for the Redskins and offense coordinator, was a great coordinator. Great coordinator, great coach, terrible head coach, rotten head coach, god awful head coach. And there's some coaches that are just like that. Argentina's in the finals. Great. Maybe Daniel Jones can go play for Argentina. People are complaining about Tyrod fumbling on the first drive, like DJ didn't fumble on the first drive against the Commanders. Hey-oh. I know. And also, Tyrod got killed because Matt from Connecticut got destroyed. The giant you know what's funny? And this is what I got to give. I don't know what's going on in Philadelphia, but the Philadelphia head coach seems to hate the Giants. I mean, like physically, I'm like hate the Giants. Because that last couple drives, he had most of his defensive line starters still in the game. There's something that I don't know what happened there. The giant problem is if the pick doesn't work out, don't cut the guy. Keep him at a depth piece. No, you got to cut the guy. Sometimes you got to just cut bait and leave. Daniel Jones needs to evaluate the offense. No, let us say I may be crazy. Okay, it just seems to me Saquon is playing for a contract. He doesn't lower his shoulder anymore. I don't know if he doesn't lower his shoulder anymore because of the fact that he's injured. A stinger hurts like hell. I've had a stinger. And playing the safety and linebacker position, you try leading with your shoulder and hitting someone. It hurts. It hurts like hell. And I'll tell people that. And I always love people that never played the game talk about these things. And I'm not picking on you, but I'm just saying people in general, they always talk about this. Well, I would do this. No, it hurts like hell. And I was talking about this on the game on Sunday, especially with these guys. You play 2 years of Pop Warner. You play 4 years in high school. You play a minimum 2 years, or back in the day, you had to play minimum of 3 years in college. So you're already up to playing football for 9 years. And then you go into the pros. You are going to reach a point where your body, and I've mentioned this before in playing in college, you reached a point sometimes where you weren't looking for contact. I always got hurt, and I always knew, and the last couple of games I was like, this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt. But you still do it. And the problem with it being a professional, I never thought about being a professional because I was never any good. But the problem with being a professional is you're getting paid to do it. And so if my thing is this, if you don't want to do your job, don't do it. Because it's a sport at the end of the day, and you feel like you need to quit, then you quit. But for people to sit there, and this is what annoys me with certain people, there's people that sit there and say, well, he needs to do this and he needs this. You don't know what the physical impact is on lowering unless you truly know what the physical impact is on your body, lowering your shoulder into another player going full speed. Because I've always said this before. You know what the thing about the NFL is? It's 6 seconds of an explosion, and then you rest. And it's another 6 seconds of an explosion. That wear and tear on your body, you will never know. I got pains in my knees. I got pains in my shoulders. I got pains in my elbows. And and like I said, you reach a point where you're not avoiding contact, but you are not looking for the contact as you did when you were like 15. And I think people need to understand that with these guys. So I'm never going to sit there and say a player's dogging it. I'm never going to sit there and say he's not looking for contact. But you do reach a point when you sit there and you say to yourself, this is going to hurt. And then you reach a point where you just sit there and you say, this is no longer worth this. And I'm not saying Saquon's at that point, but I do think he's got some type of injury with that neck. I think what happened was his shoulder injury has led to an issue with his neck. And I think that's what's happening with Saquon Barkley right now. And it's tough to bust your head into the line knowing it's going to hurt like a son of a bitch. But I love it because you have so many armchair people that are on YouTube that never played the sport that don't know that. And they're like, well, I would just do this. Okay. Okay. You know what's funny? Dom, you're still on the line. You wore my shoulder pads from college. And I laughed though, because and Dom, you can type this out. You wore my shoulder pads from college. How did they fit you? I want to actually and I'm going to get to that in a minute, but type in how they fit your body. And I'm going to get to something in a second. Let's see here. Zach says, this reminds me of the 2020 game against the Cards. The team seems to be built looking ahead to Sunday Night Football. You know what I laugh about, though? And I don't laugh because it's serious, but Kyler Murray tore his ACL on a non-contact play on the best surface in the NFL. He tore his ACL on the best surface of the NFL. Turf monster smash. But the Giants have the worst grass, have the worst field. The number one ranked field in the NFL is that stadium in Arizona, and he tore his ACL in a non-contact. Oh, and here we go. I'm going to jump down to Dom. He says they were a tad big. They were more. What's that? They were more than a tad big. But Dom, when you say, here we go. That's what I'm looking. They weren't comfortable, and while they offer protection, it hurt like hell if someone smashed into me because I was beating Dom in the shoulders at one point. Now imagine doing that during summer practice, during training camp, during a season where you not only play the games, but you practice 4 times a week, and then come back and tell me that Saquon Barkley doesn't have the heart to do something. I answered, yes, you did. I got you, Dom. I got you. I love this one. Danny Dump-Off's duds. Maybe my wife will eventually stop yelling at me. Oh my God, I gotta go with you, Dan. I love this, Danny. God, keep a building around Daniel Jones. He will eventually look like a franchise quarterback. Yeah, sure. Maybe. Oh, what does Cortez Smith say? I've been saying it though, Tim. It's amazing that Dallas has these guys on the teams that were drafted 6 years ago as his depth pieces because of the fact that we didn't understand. We understand as an organization. Make sure you hit the like, guys. We got 90-something people in the room and only 41 likes. We understand an organization. The only problem is we just haven't drafted well, and hopefully that Shane is going to start drafting well. What does Mr. Rover keep saying? I keep looking forward to seeing the offseason, see how our rebuild continues under Shane. There will be a lot of United vans going to Jersey. There will be. There will be. We got Admiral Mutombo. What's your secret to looking young? I don't want to talk about that. There's a lot of beauty secrets that go on here at the Online Big Blue House. A lot of beauty secrets. I don't want to talk about it. You know what your secret is to staying looking young? Not giving a crap. That's what it is. Here's another one. Here's another one from Zach. Try tackling in 30-degree weather. Try tackling in the rain. Try tackling in the snow. It hurts. But don't worry, all these people on Twitter and YouTube that never played understand this philosophy. Whoa, that's really loud. We got a lot of things going on in the other room that are really loud. Hey, Tim, what position group would you want to target in free agency? I am going to target linebackers right off the bat. Hold on one second, everybody. Hold on one second, everyone. I gotta jump off for 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back. I had to go turn off something because something very, very loud was going on here. We got 100 people in the room. Let's get up to 100 likes. We got Danny dumping off. Where do we sit there? Let's see. It still's the turf's fault. Everything's the turf's fault. But like I said, it's interesting that Kyler Murray tore his ACL in a non-contact play away from the play completely on the best surface in the NFL. It happens. Zach Attack says, I remember in high school, I made a perfect from tackle. It was 32-degree weather in the shirt and hurt like hell for me to hit the running back I was tackling. It does. What do we got here? I had Kyler in the fantasy. He got me to the playoffs. Now I'm going to rely on Watson for the postseason. You know what's funny? I do fantasy football every once in a while. I had Trevor Lawrence for a bunch of weeks. It actually worked out pretty well. I think Kyler's body's wearing down. Yeah, potentially. He's a small guy. We got Frank coming in. Tim, will Daniel Jones ever win a game this season with his arm alone? No. No. Next. Keep blaming everyone and everything but Daniel Jones. That's the problem. That's what happens. Everyone blames everyone else, but doesn't blame what could potentially be the issue. I've said this over and over again, millions of times before. You've changed the offensive line. You changed the wide receivers. You've changed 3 offense coordinators. You changed 2 head coaches. There's only been one constant, and that's your quarterback. What's Stanley say? Stanley, Jalen Hurts is not good. He's just benefiting from a good offensive line, talented wide receivers, and a soft schedule. Once the playoff teams comes, will be tested. Don't buy it. Sorry. Jalen's got an it factor. Jalen played well enough last year to get his team into the playoffs as well. If Stonehands or Featherstone does not drop the ball, he beats the Giants. Nope, sorry. Interior line and linebacker. Yeah. At least I don't have to vamp this week. That's because you have issues at home. Quarterback, linebacker, and free agency. Oh, OG Knockout says, I'm sick of everyone saying Daniel Jones doesn't have time to throw. When he does have time to throw, he's scared to throw the damn ball. Everyone is blaming Darius Slayton for that drop a couple weeks back against Washington. Everyone's blaming him. I'm one of the few idiots that came out and said, well, if you actually look at the play, if Daniel Jones throws the ball to the sideline and hits him in stride, he's got a touchdown. Instead, he throws the ball high to the middle of the field and makes Darius do a little pirouette, and luckily was able to get his hands on it and make that tough catch. And then before he dropped the ball, it wasn't a great play by Daniel Jones. It was a great almost catch by Darius Slayton. But we don't want to talk about the ball placement. We don't want to talk about creating throwing windows. We don't want to be putting the ball in the right place for the wide receiver to make the catch. We don't want to talk about any of those things. It's Darius Slayton's fault, not Daniel Jones. Oh, my God. Lorenzo says, Eli Rick's 2 second rounds to the Giants. Perfect type of player for the Giants. Reminds me of Surtain quite a bit. Eli Ricks. Okay. RFD says, Flott and Big Josh concern me, but the others look good in preseason, the season, so I have the feeling depth will improve. I'm not a Flott guy. Fabian's been exposed. I don't know. We got problems. Danny Dumbup says the Eagles are literally miles ahead of us, and they have the Saints. They have the Saints #1 pick, and they have their own pick. And they still have Hurts another year under a second-year contract before they need to even be concerned about signing him. That's why they can do things. They are winning in the playoff window with their second-round quarterback, which is a lot less than a first-rounder from number 6 overall. Let's get Jared Goff next year and draft quarterback. I don't think Jared Goff is leaving Detroit. Jared Goff is putting up numbers, and Jared Goff at times is putting up numbers with he was doing it with no one at first. Saquon Barkley hits 4,000 yards rushing. 50 starts for Daniel Jones. We've had to deal with Daniel Jones for 50 starts. No wonder my fucking head hurts. No wonder I got a headache. What's up? Hey, Tim, what's up? What's your reasoning for leaving? This is only my second year. My reasoning for leaving, and I don't want to get into this. My reasoning for leaving is this. It's just time to go. It's just time. There is a underswell in the giant YouTube community that there are a bunch of morons that don't want to speak the truth. I've said it before. They do it for the likes, the clicks, the bleeps, and the boops. That's just fine. You can do it for that. I do this channel, or I did this channel to give information, to give what I would it's not always accurate information, but give information, give an opinion, but give it an unbiased opinion. It's not a fan channel. And I think more people on YouTube want things like that. They want fan channels. And I'm not going to sit there and placate to the people. I'm going to say what I want. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to speak the truth. The truth shall set you free. Go watch or go find on any place podcasts are. Get off my lawn, the Mad Ramblings of a Gen Xer. I have a new podcast out. I have 18 episodes in, over 10,000 downloads. Great podcast. I'll be doing that. I might be doing another sports channel. Lord only knows, but there's going to be something new. It's going to be something fun. It's going to be something exciting. Jonathan says, I was being sarcastic. That said about taking a quarterback from Kentucky in the first round. I know, Jonathan. I know, man. That was Joey G says, do you think we make the playoffs? Anyway, I'm happy if we make the playoffs. As a Giant fan, why wouldn't you be happy if we made the playoffs? I'll be happy. If we lose Sunday, no, we're not making the playoffs. Because then we're going to get beat by Minnesota. I then would have, even at home, concerns about beating Indianapolis. And I think if Philadelphia even plays their backups, we may lose to them if we lose this game. And I think you're going to need 10 wins to get into the playoffs because you got Detroit turning it around. You got Seattle at 7-6. Or you have like 4 teams or 3 teams right now going to be battling for that last playoff spot. And we lost to Seattle and we lost to Detroit. I think there's a big chance that they franchise Saquon Barkley and trade him. Thoughts? I don't think they're going to franchise him. They may transition tag him. I don't think they're going to franchise him. They may because we've said this before. As soon as you transition tag someone or put the franchise, that cap hold automatically goes on your cap. You automatically have whatever the number is. Like I said, if they franchise Daniel Jones, there's automatically a $32 million cap hold until he either signs his tag or signs a contract. To me, the biggest need for Giants is their quarterback in the offseason, fearing going to make the playoffs and not being able to draft a quarterback. We'll be able to draft a quarterback. This is a deep enough draft to be able to get a quarterback and get an impact quarterback. Losing to Jory fails completely on Dable. Yeah. I'm not going to deny that. That was a dumbass move. You didn't lose. You never learned anything from Jason Sehorn. There's no film anywhere of him blowing out his knee in the preseason, returning kicks. I love it now when Richie James, though, catches the ball. Because you got so many people in the stands are like, fall down, fall down, fall down. Don't run it back. Just fall down. Catch it and fall down. But they're like, whew, Richie James. That was good. What's up, Jeffrey? I haven't seen Jeffrey in the chat. Well, I've seen him in the comment section. We should reset everything, let Barkley go to a better team. Obviously, move on from the bum boy and quarterback. 4 years of the same crap offense. Adding a wide receiver isn't good. That's a great point. Adding a wide receiver is not going to make it any better. We added Wan'Dale Robinson. You added Kadarius Toney. You added Kenny G. You added David Sills. What did he say? What does it say? We're lucky the Commanders have a tough schedule as well in the last few weeks. We also own the Panthers for beating the Seahawks. Big game coming up, at least 2 wins to get into the playoffs. Yeah, but the problem is it doesn't matter if the Panthers beat the Seahawks in reference to the playoffs. It's going to be individual matchups. So if we are tied with the Seahawks, we're not going to make the playoffs because they beat us. So I do give the Panthers all the props in the world because Seattle's got to figure out how to stop the run. Nearly half a decade of jokes. Jones autocorrected to jokes, so I left it. I like that. OG Knockout says delusional fans is running Tim off. People hate the trade. It is delusional fans. It really is. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna put out crap. I'm not gonna put out crap for the sake to say Daniel Jones is the greatest quarterback ever. I'm not gonna just say things to try to get people to like the channel or subscribe. I'm not gonna do that. That's not fair to the people that actually listen. It's not fair. I'm not going to, and people get mad at me that I don't change my opinion. I'm sorry. It's my opinion. I'm not going to change just because Daniel Jones or whomever has 1 good game or 2 good games. It's not going to sway my opinion. And I've said this before. Daniel Jones has 1 good game. That's great. He's got 2 that I'm getting a little more interested. If he has 3 in a row, then I'm getting my curiosity to speak. He's got 4, 5, 6 in a row. That's when I start looking at Daniel Jones or whatever player and saying, maybe there's something there. But I'm not going to sit there and swing my thought process every time there's a game or every time there's a different game no, I'm not going to go game to game. Go watch my podcast. There's a new podcast called Get Off My Lawn, The Mad Ramblings of a Gen Xer. There it is right there on the bottom. It's on every place that you can find podcasts. We got over 10,000 downloads right now. I think we got like 15 episodes in there. It's a good podcast. It's a fun podcast. It's a political podcast. It's an entertaining podcast. It's actually a really good one. Today's was a really good episode, though. What's up, D Coop? What's going on, my brother? How you doing? Irish Rover says, as much as I loathe the Eagles, I must admit they are a really good team. I think the Eagles take the NFC conference and go to the Super Bowl. I think they go there too. What has more impact, says Jeffrey? A rookie wide receiver or quarterback that will change this offense the most? A new quarterback or another damn wide receiver? That's the point. That's the point, though. That truly is the point. What's going to be the difference maker? Your biggest difference maker is going to be the guy under center. A good quarterback could make average wide receiver better. And I've said this a million times before. Look at Eli Manning. Name me one wide receiver outside of OBJ, and it took him a couple of years to do it. Name one wide receiver that left the Giants Manning's prime that went on to succeed for another team. You can't. Because he made the guys around him better. Reuben Randall, out of the league. Steve Smith, out of the league. You have guys that left. Victor Cruz, out of the league. You had he made guys around him better. What is OG says? I know I've said this before, but if Daniel Jones was on another team, you all be saying he sucks. You all drinking the John Mayer Kool-Aid. I spoke to people that still work around the league a couple weeks back. And I was talking to Lorenzo about this during the game. And I love it because they said that the love affair for Daniel Jones is more subjugated to the fans of the Giants and not people that actually work in the NFL. Which I thought that was very interesting. Any bridge quarterback you got in mind? I'm guessing if they draft a quarterback, they might sit him for a year behind a vet. Well, I mean, why? I've said this before. Back in the early 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, you sometimes draft a guy in the first round. They don't play for like 3-4 years. But why not bring him in? There's been plenty of teams that won with rookie quarterbacks. Big Ben won a Super Bowl as a rookie. There are plenty of people that have had awesome seasons as a rookie quarterback. So let's see what they got. Let's see what they got going on there. Now that you're here, Plaxico shooting himself, JPP blowing off his fingers, the boat trip, McKinney's accent. Why are we the only team that goes through these BS curses? It's the boat trip. Told everyone about this. It's the boat trip that causes the problem. Jonathan says, who is your pick for the Giants quarterback? I have said this a million times before. If I'm picking a guy, I'm taking Hooker in the second or third round. I'm letting him sit. He's going to miss it because he's got the torn ACL. Yeah, he's 25, but he's going to miss a couple weeks. And you put him in like week 8 or 9. I still think he fits the system. OG says, receivers come to the Giants to die with Daniel Jones. That's a great point. Receivers come here to die. That's a great point. Jeffrey says, imagine if Tim did not create a channel of honest opinions and knowledge. Thanks, Tim. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you for always supporting the channel as well. I really appreciate that. Todd says, funny thing is that they want anyone else that has a bad game to be cut. That is the funny thing. Anyone else beyond Daniel Jones, come on, guys, hit the likes. Let's get up to 60. Any guy beyond Daniel Jones, automatically, who has a bad game, automatically should be cut immediately. We need to cut him and bring someone else in. Daniel Jones has a back. Well, the offensive line, wide receivers, coaching staff. That fucking Kafka. It's the coaching staff. Osmosis Jones says, when do you plan on dropping your video about your favorite quarterbacks process in the draft? It's really going to depend. If we win this weekend, it'll be a couple weeks. If we lose, I'll probably drop it like Wednesday after the loss. If we lose. Joey G Sports. What's up, Joey G? I respect your opinion, Tim, and you've been right a lot. I think that's why a lot of people do hate me. Because you know what? I never waver from my opinion because I've always said this. I may say something and it may not come to fruition for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But if you go 3-4 months down the road, I would say at least 80% of the time we're right. I always say I'm not going to change my opinion just because people want me to. Logic's finest. Tim, I'm going to miss you. My best to you in your family next season. Hopefully we can run into each other at a Giant game. Your Gen X podcast is great from a fellow Gen Xer. Yeah, it's called Mad Ramblings of a Gen Xer. It's called Get Off My Lawn. Great episode today. Literally a great episode today. I should post it in the comments section. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to post it in the comments section because I don't know how that banner works. I'm going to turn that ticker off. We're going to keep this up though, just so everyone knows that we are ending. But I will post it. We got Big Don with this. Big Don. Hey, I haven't seen Big Don in a while. Thank you for the super chat. It's the sticker from Big Don. Everyone and thank you, Don. Another great supporter of the channel. Big Don, I haven't seen you in a while, my brother. How you been? For those that do not know, the super chats for this week, last month of November and all of December are going to, usually we donate the money to charity. We are going to pool that money. I'm speaking too close to the mic. I need the pop thing. You got to have one of these in here because it's a professional microphone. All that money is going to actually be pooled, and we're going to take 3 fans to the last game of the season on New Year's Day. On New Year's Day, I will be with you again. We're going to take 3 subscribers, I should say, to the Coaches Club for the last game of the season. So that we're going to take that money and we're going to, like I said, we're going to buy 3 tickets, and I'm going to take 3 subscribers. And we did this with the preseason game. We took Dom, Big L, LJ. And we all hung out at the Coaches Club, and we're going to go on. You get to go on the field after the game. We can hang out on the field as long as you want. It's a great experience. It's fun. But we're going to take all that money from the Super Chats for the next 2 months and combine them, and we're going to buy the tickets, and we're going to do another raffle, another giveaway. So hopefully we'll give out more information when we're going to do that. But thank you for the Super Chat, my friend. It's actually a sticker. I like stickers. I like stickers since I was a kid. I don't know why stickers. I want to give a big shout out to Irish Rover. Irish Rover last week donated $200 to the cause, which I thought was awesome. So Irish Rover got to go to the Coaches Club for the Texans game. And he actually flew in for the Texans game. So we're going to do that. Like I said, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to give 3 subscribers a chance to come out and hang out with us, do everything you need to do, hang out on the field. We're going to have a really good time with it. We always do. What does Adrian say? Tim, the only guy I take seriously when it comes to New York Giants. Hard truth is it's a fan's favorite opinion. Not realistic with football logic, not just from a fan's point of view. That's what I try to do. And a lot of people don't like it, which is okay. I'm fine with that. And you know what? I think I've made my peace. I've only been doing this for 2.5 seasons now. I guess this is season 3. I've made my peace with this, and I'm okay. I quit once before because for the wrong reasons. I'm not going to get into that, but I'm quitting this time for the right reasons. And like I said, I picked the date of 17th because it's after Super Bowl. We can talk about the draft a little bit. I may come back and do a live stream for the draft, but it's just time. But let's talk about Giants. Let's not talk about me. The amount of people that said cut Cano after he missed a field goal was absurd. I don't know how people can even say that when he's amazing his entire Giant career, because they're idiots. As they're morons. We've talked about this. Don says it's been a busy time at work. I love the podcast. This is coming from a millennial. Yes, I pick on millennials. Yes, I pick on Gen Y. But it's a lot of fun. It's a good podcast this week. A really good podcast this week, and we got a really good one tomorrow. So, let's see. What does Stanley said? Leon Robbins is the best running back in the NFL draft since they took Saquon. Probably, do you think the Giants will draft him? Depends on where he is. Depends on where he pops up at. I mean, do I think the Giants should draft him? If they're letting Saquon Barkley go, I do think you need to take a running back. But again, you could find a running back later in the draft. So I think that's the who's that sexy guy? Oh, that's me. I think you could find it later in the draft. I think you can find somebody. I think it'll be fine. I'm more hopeful that we find somebody later in the draft that we don't have to, you don't have to pay those big bucks for. So we gotta kind of go from there. I laugh because today's podcast was actually about a conspiracy theories, and I stole that from Lorenzo. So I'm putting the link to the podcast. Whoops, did I do that? Oops. There we go. If you haven't seen it, that's the podcast. It's my new podcast. It's actually doing extremely well. I really do appreciate all the people that have that really have gone out of their way and listen. So it's Conspiracy Tuesday. It's called The Timely Arrest of Sam Bankman-Fried and the Best Dressed Lurch Friedman. What's up, Damien? What's going on? Lorenzo says he won't go as high as Saquon, but he's definitely a coveted brother. Yeah, I do. I agree. But like I said, I think right now you need to worry about your quarterback situation. You really do. Tim Jeffrey says, honestly, a new quarterback isn't going to go 0-13 in prime time, 0-11 in prime time games. I guarantee you that. You're not wrong. I mean, a quarterback is needed. A quarterback is a necessity. A quarterback is something that you need. The quarterback runs. He's straw that stirs the drink. He's the one. He's the commander in chief. He's the one. He's the wife of the house. He runs everything. And if you don't have that, and I'm not saying the Giants don't have faith in the quarterback. I'm not saying the team does not believe in Daniel Jones. I am saying this: there is a difference between Daniel Jones and Jalen Hurts. There is a difference the way this team rallies around him. And I think at the end of the day, that's what we need to look at. And that's kind of where we need to go from there. Let's see here. What do we got? Whoops. What do we got here? If you're going to do a video when DJ leaves the Giants, can you do one for Leonard Williams? Yes, I will do one for Leonard Williams right now. You're not cutting him next year. You're not trading him. I saw some stupid comment on Twitter that we should get, even though he's owed $32 million and it'll be a $20 million cap hit, and we're going to save $12 million, we should get rid of him. Really? I literally was doing this. I was like, did I just fucking read that? Did I just read that? And I did. He's going to be here next year.
King of the almost sack.
He's going to be here. There's nothing you can do about it. He's going to be here at least next year. Kenny G is probably going to be here unless they do something with the contract, because of the fact that you can't keep having all this dead cap space. And plus you have the dead cap year already in 2024 for $3.5 million, Leonard Williams, even no matter what we do. What's up, Frank? Tim, this defense can't produce the sacks like in 2007, 2011. I'm tired of these kids bragging about the pressures and the statistics. Both Dallas and Philadelphia ranked number 1 and 2. Here's the problem. I like Kayvon Thibodeau. I do. But I'm going to make a point right now, and it's going to be an unpopular point. Unless he figures this out quickly, he is going to have a lot of issues. And the problem he has, and you can watch it, especially on he's relying on his talent. He's relying on the outside speed rush where he's looping around. The problem is the tackles are smart enough to understand that you just continuously push him towards the sideline. So he's taking a longer route to get to the quarterback, which is delaying him getting any sacks, which is why he only has 2 sacks. There is nothing wrong with developing an inside swim move. It's not against the law in the NFL. But if you're going to continuously loop around and take the sidelines and try to use your speed, most NFL tackles are smart enough to understand all I'm going to do is push you further to the sideline and give you a longer route to get to the quarterback. That's what a smart NFL lineman is going to do. And until he figures it out, or until he starts playing more in the interior of the line, he's going to have this problem of just relying on his talent. Inside swing. You know what? Double move, inside swim move, and you go right past. You go right under the guy. You go right under the tackle. But if you keep looping around, you're going to keep being king of the almost sacks. And you're going to be a king of the almost sack junior. Oh, what do we got here? What do we got here? Tim, how do you feel about the team drafting a running back in the 2nd or 3rd round every few years and then letting them walk? I'm a believer that if you don't sign the running back to big money philosophy. I don't have a problem with as long as you have an offensive system. You look at Denver back in the 90s and even the early 2000s, they were rotating in running backs all the time. Was it Reuben Drones? They had a lot of guys that they just brought in because it was a system thing. And I think the Giants can do that. How do I feel about Anthony Richardson? Well, with my hands, I feel like this. Not my favorite, but like I said, if the fits the philosophy of Shane and the philosophy of Dable, then I'm all for it. What if Will Levis is available? Will is another guy I'm not high on, but another one again. Like I said, if he fits the system, if he fits what Dable wants to do, I'm all for it. Admiral Mutombo, of course, we promoted Captain Mutombo. The link between sports and war. There's always a link between sports and war. I never like using war analogies in sports because it's not life or death. Jalen is who Daniel Jones fans think he is. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Todd says he ripped under last week and the guy had to hold him. He needs to do it. He does need to do it more. You cannot continuously try to rely on your talent in this league, and make sure we get up to 65 likes before we leave. And like I said, you're trying to use the speed rush. That's great, but a smart tackle is just going to push you further towards the sideline, so you're taking a longer route to get to the quarterback. And he's got to learn how to finish. Azeez Ojulari knows how to finish. Kayvon has not learned how to finish yet. Jeffrey says the franchise gave Daniel Jones 4 chances. It's over. That's a great way to put it. He's had 4 years. Most people get rid of their quarterback after 2 years, 3 years tops. We've given him 4 years, and we made excuses for him every year. The sun was not in the 7th house. Jupiter was not aligned with Mars. The grass, it has to be 2.5 inches. That's the problem. Mr. Alvarez says, hope Evan Neal can get better because the Giants fuck around aren't living up to all the hype people are giving. Offensive tackles take a little bit longer to mature. And I think at times Neil has played well. I am concerned that we're going to go into year 4 next year for Andrew Thomas. And you got that 5th-year option, which is going to be a big nut. And I know some people are saying, well, you just moved Evan Neal over to left tackle. Well, Evan Neal hasn't proved himself as a right tackle yet. So I can't consider that yet. Mike Glenn says Jones was asked a leadership question. He said there are many leaders in the locker room. Your quarterback. Oh, I didn't know this. You know what Dexter Lawrence came out and said, Mike? Dexter Lawrence said that some guys in this team need to prepare more. I thought that was a weird comment for Dexter to say. I might do a video tomorrow and talk about that. That he is one of the 10 captains. We have 10 captains. You have 53 men on the roster. We have 10 captains. You knew in the Giants back in the day that Phil Simms was the leader, the offensive leader. You knew Lawrence Taylor was the defensive leader, that Harry Carson was the defensive leader. You knew that. You don't know that in the Giants nowadays. What's up, Prince? Prince $100. Bill. Tim, this is what I hear. Draft Andrew Richardson to play him his first year. Then when he was really bad, we draft Caleb Williams the following year. So we do in Arizona. You never know. Dammy does. What's sad is majority of Giants fans still think Daniel Jones is better than Hurts. Well, I don't know about that. I hope that's not true. The funny thing is Will Levis and Anthony Richardson have identical numbers. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of either one, to be honest. But like I said, I am taking, can't get to 65 likes, Tom. I am taking the philosophy, and I've taken the philosophy this in the entire year. I'm trusting Shane. I'm trusting Dable till they give me a reason not to. So if they're telling me these are their guys and they draft one of them, I'm going to support it. I support Daniel Jones. You can ask Lorenzo. You can ask Eilish Rover. You can ask everyone else. You can ask Dom. You can ask Big L. You can ask LJ. I cheer for Daniel Jones at the games because he's maybe not my quarterback personally, but he's our team's quarterback. So I cheer for him at the game. So if this is what they think and this is what they believe that these guys fit the system, I'm down for it. What's up, Dahmer? 65 likes. I know it's okay. OG says, how much control do you think Mara still has when it comes to keeping Daniel Jones? I think he's relinquished a lot of control to Shane. I really do. And I think he is going to follow the lead for Shane. I think he's got a lot of faith in him. Mr. Jones says, it would be cool if we could pick up Ojalar's brother in the draft. That'd be pretty neat. Why not? Hey, Tim, what's up? Hey, Tim, I'm not even upset about last week's game. This team is massively overachieved considering how everyone thought they'd finish. Once we have a new quarterback, things should turn themselves around. I do think things will turn themselves around. I think we're going the right way. Let's get Mike White for a third pick. I don't think the Jets would never trade a quarterback to the Giants unless it was like they were thinking they were trading Scott Bruner or Jeff Rutledge over to us, but they were never going to trade to a quarterback. Mike White, man, I thought Mike White got ripped in half the other week. I didn't think he was coming back. Dude, it's tough as nails. Mr. Robert says, the only reason I mentioned Neal as well is because a lot of success of the guys I wanted, Abrams and Lucas and right tackle. Yeah, I know. I understand. I get you. And besides, you also want your first round to succeed because these are going to be our building blocks. But like I said, I'm curious to see how they do next year. I really am. Because we've seen what they are going to be what they are, who they thought they were. They are who they are right now. They're not going to get any difference. They're not going to change. They're not going to get any better. They're going to be what they are because we're running out of time. It's going to be what next year looks like in 2023. Todd says the Shane, that's actually true. The Shane Giants start next year. You're right. Stanley says, hey, Tim, what's up with Odell Beckham? No, he's not going to sign with the Giants. Odell Beckham is not playing this year. I have said this over and over again since this whole fiasco started. And he's come out and said, well, I'm not going to play none of the playoffs. No. You're not even a year removed from your ACL injury. It's your second one. You're not playing this. He's not playing this year. He's not. I'll eat my hat if he plays. Are you going to watch the World Cup? No. Next. I hope OBJ doesn't sign. Drama King, 2 ACLs, shut it down for me. You're right. It's done. I bet they trade Falco to us. No, not Falco. Joe. I'm thinking Shane Falco. I would take Shane Falco over Daniel Jones. Pimp Next looks back says Mara can't risk forcing DJ to stay. He has basically ruined the reputation that he has and put up a red flag to future GMs and head coach prospects. Can't be a failing team and try to overstep your control as an owner. You're right. You can't. You cannot be you're right. That sums it up. You can't. You have to start relinquishing some power because you know what? What you have done since that last Super Bowl in 2011 has not worked. In 2011, we are now going into 2023. So we're talking 12 years removed. Like how I did that quick math. Hey, Dom, like how I did that quick math. Yeah, I got some smarts. So it's time to think of a different philosophy. It's time to try something different. It's time just to do something else. And I'm good with that. I'm fine with that. And I think that Mara is going to be fine with that as well. I did math. Hey, Dom, while you're here, we know what we need to get from you. We need to get a scouting report about Bo Callahan. You know, he might be available also in 2023. Do you have any information about Bo Callahan that we should know about, Dom? Oh my goodness. What Osmosis Jones says, what do you think we will do at wide receiver position next year in the offseason? I think you're going to try to draft some people. I think you're going to scan the free agent market. You're going to try to find that diamond in the rough. Shane's going to try to prove he's just one of the smartest men in the room by signing some guys. I think Shane is smart enough to understand you build a proper team through the draft and you augment it with mid-level free agent signings that can help your team right away. And I think that's what he's going to do. And I think that's going to be the thought process. Dominic says he likes pancakes, so he'll be drafted by Seattle. What about the playbook? What is that? The movie Draft Day. I love it because Dom and I talk about this movie all the time. Neither of us have seen it. We've only seen like the clips or the trailers. We've never seen it, but we always talk about the movie like it's our favorite movie or like the best movie we've ever seen, but we've never seen the movie. OG says, I think Shane, Dable, and Wink are going to make a big splash in the draft and free agency, and they'll be great. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I believe they'll be fine. I believe we're going in the right direction. I believe we're heading in the right way. I believe that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. I believe that we're going the right way. I believe we're headed in the right direction. Is starting Tyrod Taylor next year an option? I like the Caleb Williams next draft. I think it's an option. And I think that you don't give him a 2-year contract at $11 million unless you're planning on doing something with him. But I do think it's an option. Dominic Pardo says he didn't. This is Bo Callan. Didn't know it's a $100 bill. He suspects he's not a hard worker. Probably needs to insert a Murray-style class clause in the contract. John B says there's an MLB coming out in the draft. Middle linebacker. I'm thinking Major League Baseball. Like, there's a Major League Baseball coming out in the draft. We could draft and plug in the season and be successful. Todd also says it's basically an ad for the NFL draft. There's no nonsense wrap around it. I've never seen it. And that's draft day. I've never seen it. I've seen the highlights. And that's why Dom and I make fun of it. Because we were talking about it one day, and then I asked him, did you ever see the movie? He's like, no. He's like, did you ever see the movie? I'm like, no. I only know the pancake scene, the $100 bill scene. And I think those are the only 2 scenes that I know. And whatever's in the trailer. Oh my God. I hope she finally settles down for the night. Fingers crossed. Hopefully. It's a terrible movie, by the way. Oh, you did? It looked like a terrible movie. How is your daughter, Dom? Is she doing okay? Hopefully she's finally settled down for the night because it's late. You 5 hours now, so it's 10:30 or back to 6. So it's 5:28 or 10:28 your time, Tom. Hopefully she's doing well. You guys ever seen Trading? Of course we've seen Trading Places. I love Trading Places. Trading Place. I you know what? How could you say that? Have you listened to the show? Are you new to the show? Because one of my favorite thing, hold on, I'm getting to it again. My wife still has not labeled the soundboard. She has not labeled the soundboard because I don't know why. Where is it? Oh, here it is.
I'm a karate man, all right? Karate man rules on the inside.
What are you, ignorant? So that part of the scene. Because the phone and the limo's busted. Yes, seen Trading Places. It's 10:30, so I was right. Can we trade places with Philly? Nope. Hey, Montana, New York. I got to play. Montana, New York's music's going to be coming out on my show. I'm just trying to find the right place to put it on. If those are don't know, he's a bluesgrass guy. He sent me some wonderful music, wonderful original Montana, New York music, which we're going to be playing on the show. Tim, greatly appreciate you for all your hard work you put in the channel over the years. Thank you. You're very welcome. Trading Places is classic. Billy Ray Valentine. Dom, bite your tongue. Draft Day is a good movie. I can't see how football fans don't like Draft Day because it's not realistic, probably. Tim, could you see could you still freelance on YouTube as a Giants fan? I will. You know what I'm doing? And that's actually, Rich, that's actually a good question. I am doing different things on YouTube for the Giants. Well, not really on YouTube. I did a, what the hell is it called? I did a couple Twitter spaces I got invited on. I've done that. I've gone on another, I went on an Eagles channel. So I might be like a fill-in guest. I'm going to be like that celebrity in the 80s that was on like a hot, like in the 70s, I'll say. I'm going to be like celebrity that was on like a hit TV show in the 70s and then now does Love Boat and all these other shows. I'm going to be guest appearing on a lot. I will guest appear on different shows. Yeah. I'm not going to leave the Giant community. I'm just not going to do videos anymore. But I will still go on different shows and I will go on and when if people invite me to do, and I'll keep up my Giant Twitter at Online Big Blue One. But I will go. I will do different shows. I will pop up here and there. And like I said, I may do a live draft show. I may do that. But like I said, it's just time. It's time. The end is near. And so I face the final curtain. Hess Daly says, hey, Timothy, why did they run Eli out of town for Daniel Jones? Because it was time. It was 3 years time for Eli Manning to leave before he left. I always talk about the Washington game. That was 3 years before he left. I thought that was I thought that was going to be his last game. And it was like negative. It was JPP's last game. It was like negative 32 that day. We stayed on the field the entire game. So we thought it was Eli's last game. Logic Fine says Draft Day is pure fluff, but people like Survivor and pro wrestling, which is absolute. I don't watch pro wrestling. I've never seen Survivor. Let's see. Dom says Eli was on the decline. They hope Jones was a replacement. They were dead wrong. Princess said, please do a couple of episodes when it's draft week and get 8. Like I said, I'll do a show when Daniel Jones leaves. I may do a draft show, but not much else. People have noticed that I've gone maybe, I've gone maybe like every other day, every 3 days, or every 4 days to doing a video. And that's what I'm going to keep. I'm going to do like every 3-4 days unless news comes up. So like every, I used to do daily videos. So if I do one video every 4 days, that's going to be a lot until we close out the season. But like I said, when something does come up, I'll do videos. And like I said, I kind of think I want to do a Dexter Lawrence video tomorrow. Let's see. Montana says, you'll be missed. I wish I could take you to lunch as a thank you and encourage you. I appreciate that because I've gotten a lot of encouragement. Timothy says, look at the Giants' final score since 2019. Only twice was the score over 28. Oh, I didn't know that. All right, guys, it is 5:32. We have 65 likes. We're going to read these last couple comments, and I'm going to get out of here. I never watched Survivor, but I don't watch pro wrestling. I do watch pro wrestling. I've turned 15. It lost its appeal to me. I always think of Survivor, the band. Rising up, straight to the top. Got the girls, got the glory. Went the distance, I'm not gonna stop. As a man and his will to survive. It's the
Eye of the tiger with the thrill of the fight.
rising
Up to the challenge of our lives.
in the warrior's code. There's no surrender. Oh, the body says stop. The spirit cries never. Sorry. Little montage of Survivor. If Dory and Kenny are back next week, I don't know. This is gonna be the last question I'm gonna answer. I noticed at the game a couple weeks back, McKinney had 2 splints. And I took a picture of it. He had 2 fingers in separate splints. And I know they're taking off the splints, and I know they're taking off the pins, but that doesn't mean you're gonna play. So I'm kind of curious about that. So let's get Pip Dame Slickback as the last comment. The issue with Daniel Jones' analysis of Jones is he didn't focus on the ceiling. Daniel Jones' floor is okay. This is a quarterback era where you need to have a guy who can elevate the team and be a star, not just a guy. You're in New York. You always have to have a star. All right, we're going to end that as the last one of the day. This is Tim, of course. This is Online Big Blue. I appreciate everyone that came in, hung out for the last hour and a half. We had a lot of good talk, a lot of good conversation. Look for that big video tomorrow about Dexter Lawrence. And you know what, guys? Have yourself a great evening because I am out of here.